Welcome to the first episode of The Gray Area.
Throughout this podcast, you can expect to hear different discussions about numerous and various moral and ethical dilemmas, as well as some current events.
We are in no way professionals, and it is just talk. We will be discussing some topics that may offend some listeners.
If you are easily offended, you may not want to listen to us. With that in mind, we hope you enjoy our first episode of The Gray Area.
Feel free to share your opinions and inputs in the comments below. In this episode, we will be discussing the Submarine Dilemma.
A crew of 20 men are trapped in a critically damaged submarine with no chance of repair.
A rescue sub is on its way and will arrive in 5 hours. However, the damaged submarine only has about 2.5 hours of oxygen left.
The captain of the damaged sub decides to take it upon himself to kill half the crew at random and deliberately kill himself so that the others may live.
Should he be considered a hero or a murderer?
I'm gonna start getting this going.
Okay, so in a way,
Okay.
the idea behind it, it's yes, he did save 10 people, but he also did kill 10 people.
Yeah. Which is, I guess if you do it at random.
But then, at the same time, he definitely knew he was killing himself, which automatically would have gotten him out of the sentence for murdering 9 other people.
That is true.
Right?
But I feel like it would be selfish to
not.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're the one making the decision, you sort of have to... I guess it's is death more justifiable than a prison sentence?
Yeah.
But I guess I would say that, if you're going to have to kill 9 other people and you're the captain of a crew, sort of, the old saying goes, captain goes down with the ship, so...
Yeah, so it is going down. Yeah, I don't know, because, I feel like it would have been more just if it was completely random. But, of course, he couldn't make it completely random, because he was pouring the drinks.
Yeah.
So, there's no way to make it totally random, so he would either have to decide to stay alive while his crew died, or die with some of his crew.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, he could have poisoned all 19 other people.
He could have.
And just lived.
But he didn't.
He didn't. Because the minimum amount of people to die would have to be 10, so that they would survive the full 5 hours. That was the minimum.
Ooh. I think that is, a sound decision.
Yeah.
It is not... I think that's probably the best decision one could make in that time, Because it's not like you have all the world to plan out, or all the time in the world to plan out, who can die.
Who's going to die, yeah.
It's this has to happen, or everybody's dead.
Yeah.
So
in saving some lives, he terminated others, rather than killing everyone.
Yeah. Which is... Yeah, it's better than killing everybody, definitely.
Well, yes,
but
at the same time, he is
a murderer.
Still a murderer. But it was justified. He's basically a soldier doing his job. If you think about it, because soldiers, right?
Yeah.
People in the army do their job
to protect
by killing people. That's their job. Their job is to stop the bad guys. By killing them.
That's fair.
That's army.
That's the basic principle of a soldier.
Exactly. Yeah. Right? So, he's a soldier doing his duty.
Yeah.
He's saving as many of his own as he can and eliminating the threat, so to speak. Because the threat is, there's too many people.
We're going to die.
We're going to die. We are all going to die.
We're going to suffocate, yeah.
Yeah. But then, it's different because
you have to.
Then he didn't atone for
his crime.
His crime, because he did kill. He killed people, right? But I don't know.
It's kind of hard. What if the guy, instead of killing at random, he chose the one he deemed the most worthy?
But
like,
then he's playing the role of God, so to speak,
I guess.
where he's deciding that one life is more important than another.
That's true. That's true.
So,
And I guess it is technically more preemptive murder than that.
yeah,
If it's
exactly.
at random.
If it's at random, you could almost portray it as an accident, as manslaughter, instead of
First
murder.
degree or third degree, I don't know. Degrees of murder.
d-
One of them,
75 degrees Celsius.
90
murder.
degree Kelvin murder.
Hot.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
Just a teeny bit.
toasty.
But yeah, I think that's a right decision.
I don't get me wrong. If I was in his position, I would have no idea what to do.
Oh, of course not.
Like, I'd be like, what the heck
there's
is going on?
Too many things. And, you have to put your emotions aside to be able,
Well, that's just it. Because at that point, it becomes, was he acting humanely, or was he just robotically doing this? Because, robots, for example, they make the most logical decision.
Yeah.
Right? The most logical. And
Okay.
the most logical decision
Was-
was to kill half the crew. So in doing so, did he push away his humanity?
I wouldn't say so. He's still, I guess as a captain, it's your job to protect, or I guess it's to lead your party or your squad. And I guess so that's technically his robotic decision, to protect his own. But at the same time, there's no way the man just blankly just poisoned all these things, not even having any ideas going through his head about what the consequences of this is.
Yeah.
And he's still doing it out of compassion and care for his people. I mean, if he didn't, then I guess he would be able to do what he wanted. He could have spiked everybody.
Yeah, that's right. So, I guess he would have had to have some emotional value. Value? I don't know. Something
Emotional, yeah. Detachment, I don't know.
Because, he did it completely randomly, and he only killed half. And he took himself down at the same time.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
I guess it would eliminate the robotic possibility because they wouldn't take themselves out.
Well, yeah.
And they wouldn't run the simulation randomly.
He would have, yeah. And
So-
I don't know if it'd be even more ethical if he asked, if people were willing to volunteer to kill himself.
That's true.
Like,
if he had addressed because he didn't tell them. He just said, let's have a drink,
and then
let's...
everybody toasted and then flopped.
Yeah, half of them flopped.
Yeah.
So, do you think it would have been more ethically correct to ask for volunteers?
Because asking for volunteers doesn't mean you're gonna get volunteers.
Not necessarily, but, guys in a submarine, they get really close with
true.
one another, right? So, maybe Steve has no family, his parents are dead, and this is the only thing he has left is living in the submarine.
So I guess
Versus Bob,
who
has a family, cares for 3 children, his wife, his old parents. So Steve, who doesn't have any connections, would probably volunteer.
Yeah. Which is... It might be more, ethically correct if he did ask. But knowing people, if he asked, this is going to happen, whether or not people volunteer, I'm going to kill, 10 people,
Yeah.
If he asked, if he proposed that idea to people, obviously some of them are going to... I think panic is going to ensue.
Right.
People who don't want to die, if everybody doesn't want to die,
then now what?
Yeah.
He can't just...
He can't just say, "Hey,
randomly
have a
have this drink.
Yeah, because they're going to think, oh, well, fucking
You
did something.
You're poisoning me.
So, yeah, I guess... Yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into this. Poison, I think, is a ethical... depending on how quick the poison is.
Well, it was drink...
Dead.
Well...
At
obviously
least they
poison
didn't-
doesn't work all that quickly,
Of
but...
course, in the context...
Yeah.
I guess that's a more ethical death than, suffocating. I don't know how bad suffocating is.
It's not fun.
I wouldn't imagine.
Well, basically, it's like drowning.
Yeah.
Because you don't have enough air. So, Yeah. I don't know. Because even if he did get some volunteers, let's say, for example, he proposed the idea to the crew.
Yeah.
And 5 people volunteer, 6 including him. He still needs to kill 4 other people.
Yeah.
And so at that point, it becomes a matter of now he does have to dictate, or his crew among themselves have to dictate who's more valuable than one another.
And I guess that role is automatically assigned to the captain, so nobody really has... I guess he has more authority. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say he has more authority on, who to pick, who can die, who has the right to die, but that responsibility in this scenario would fall on him. Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But then at that point, for the guys that didn't volunteer, mutiny would happen because they think that they should be the ones to pick who's more valuable, obviously themselves.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to die.
People don't want to die. And especially, if you're not the one to volunteer, you're not gonna go down easy. And then there probably is gonna be a fight in a submarine.
Exactly. And then at that point, it's just there's no point. There's no point of
doing. There would have been no point of killing off the first 6 if the rest of the
if they're just fighting.
Yeah.
Fighting for their right to life, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has the right to life.
Yeah, that is a basic human right.
So
you have the right to live. People cannot kill you.
but it's like sacrifice the few to save the many. But I think he sacrificed.
It's equal.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So is it equal? Because if you're qualifying equal, how is their life more valuable or less than someone else's?
Yeah. Which I guess is why he picked it at random.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I don't know. Yes, he saved people, and yes, I'm sure that their families are happy, but then the families of the crew that did die, imagine how much resentment they have to the guys that made it out.
Yeah, and the people who made it out also would have a lot of guilt. Say, Steve, he's all depressed, or, he doesn't have a family or whatever. He would have totally volunteered, didn't get the opportunity to do so, and now he feels guilty that Bob, with his 3 kids, is now dead, and he can't do anything about that.
Yeah,
which is...
Yeah, basically the feeling of, why did I live and he not live?
Exactly.
Right? Mm. Yeah. And, the guilt would be huge.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's not like you could have done anything.
No, there's literally nothing you could have done.
But
literally nothing.
But
you still feel guilty.
You still
because
would, yeah.
I lived and you didn't.
Mm.
And I couldn't change that. Because I'm alive, you're dead.
Yeah.
Because you're dead. That would feel so bad.
And that's for the rest of your life too.
Yeah, because that doesn't just go away.
No,
you don't just forget something like that.
Bob didn't die. That doesn't. Those memories don't pass.
No.
Yeah, that's. So I guess he has affected more people.
Right? Do you think it would have been more beneficial to those guys who now live with life-changing guilt?
Yeah.
That will affect them every day.
Yeah.
Is that really worth saving? Or should he have let them all suffocate? All 20.
I personally think he did the right thing in saving, half the crew. I think that's right. I think that the whole situation sucks, and, it's just not there's no real winning out of this situation except for some people live.
Yeah, that's the only positive.
That's the only positive.
They now live a life
in guilt and sadness.
Wrought with guilt.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and hatred probably for the captain if
because
they're guilty or if they feel guilty.
Guilt will easily morph into it was his fault. And he's the reason that they died.
And he does not get justice.
Yeah.
For his crime.
Yeah, he doesn't serve his penance.
Yeah. But it's really I don't know. I'm still sticking with my original thought. I think he did the right thing.
Well, yeah.
I think that's the best solution he could have came out with in the amount of time that he had.
Yeah.
Because every second wasted is a breath lost. Unless you...
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, the longer that he spends his time deciding, dealing with the crew, who knows? They could just, start duking it out, and then 3 hours is up, and they're all
and that's
dead.
Death. Yeah.
All of them.
Or, like, say the guy proposed to propose the idea of volunteering, it could take longer than what would take him to decide who dies, for them to volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have to get over the fact that you're gonna die in under 3 hours.
So...
Or, no, not even. Because if they didn't kill them off pretty much right away, they would have run out of oxygen.
Real quickly, yeah.
Yeah, because if it's only 3 hours with what they have,
and then
they need 5 hours.
So
they need all the oxygen they can get. So he had to decide,
like,
within 5 minutes.
Probably, yeah. Like,
can you imagine having to make a decision like that? The fact that you are about to kill 10 people in less than a second, and you have to decide to do it in 5 minutes.
And it's completely all on you.
Yeah.
If you do it or if you don't do it.
Yep.
Because what if he did do it? Let's say he, everybody's dead.
Everyone died.
Everyone died. Do you think people would still blame him for...
I don't think they would.
If everybody died and they saw that he could have done that, like he had the material to save half the crew.
Yeah.
Do you think people would...
Well, I guess that would be a type of negligence, or because I know in Canada that, like, for example, if someone's drowning and you have the training to save them, you have to save them, and if you don't, you're responsible if they die.
That's true,
right? So I guess that would fall onto him.
Is it his job to save half, or does he have no control of the situation and he should just let everybody die?
He should just let it happen. Yeah. I don't know, because he is required to keep people alive.
Yeah, that's his job.
That's his job.
That's his title.
He has to,
manage and keep everybody safe.
Keep your guys safe, eliminate threats.
Yeah.
Just like we said earlier with the soldier comparison.
So...
Eliminate threats. In this case, the threat was there's not enough oxygen. So we have to get rid of some people. People are the threat to other people's lives.
Yeah. And it's just unfortunate that he had to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think in talking about whether or not he should have killed himself, I think he was right to kill himself. Because, I mean, if he didn't kill himself, then he's, like you said, sort of playing God.
Yeah. And deciding.
He can decide, I get to live. That's not a decision in that situation. I don't think that's a decision you get to make if you're the one killing other people.
Exactly. And there's no way that he could have randomized it. Like, he couldn't, like, turn his back and because you might have missed.
Yeah, he might have missed.
There's a bunch of things that could happen that make it so that he cannot make it random.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, for example, what I think he could have done to make it completely random, is poisoned the 10 of them and walked out with a tray of drinks
and let them pick
and let everyone take theirs as he walked by, and he got the last one, whatever it was. Even if he knew it was poisoned, he would have to drink it.
Which, I mean, yeah, I think that's the most... I guess that would be the most fair thing.
I think that would be what would be most ethical.
However, if he did live, I guess he would, he would have to serve his penance.
Yeah.
And if he didn't live, well, he's fucking dead. It doesn't really matter.
But then, do you think that as soon as they pop open the sub, for example, to save the last 10 guys, that the 10 guys alive will be seen as responsible for the death of the other 10? Like,
do
you know what I mean? Because they're alive, the rest of them are dead. how did those other guys die?
I guess
you guys are alive. They're dead because you're alive. So does that make the 10 living guys, guilty for the deaths of the other ones?
Well, I mean, it's if you say like if he does the completely randomized thing where everybody takes their own glass, they're not because they have no idea what's going on. For all they know is that the captain
alcohol,
drinks. So, I guess if all 10 of them say that, what the fuck? I don't know what happened. Yeah. This is just a thing. You know, everybody just suddenly dropped dead, and I'm here alive. I don't think they're responsible at all.
No.
But they would definitely feel responsible in a way. Yeah,
they would feel responsible, and they would have to explain themselves in court. Like, hey, it's the captain that did this. But then they're disgracing the captain's name.
But, I mean...
It's true, they could not even know.
That it was the captain. I mean, it would probably make sense, you know, that the captain did it because he brought out the drinks.
Yes.
But
at the same time, you know, drinks for 20 guys, maybe one bottle was poisoned by another crew member.
Yeah, that's true.
For all they know. You know, I mean, the captain would know, but he's dead.
Yeah.
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 I feel like if the captain had lived, that would be no life.
Well, yeah.
Knowing that you
killed
these guys because you had to.
And you're alive. Yeah, I mean, you're alive knowing that, you killed all those guys.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to be facing time.
Well,
and the other guys are going to hate you for it.
Oh, they're all going to hate you.
Coming out alive, especially if, you know, two of them are good friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Then,
exactly. Or brothers, because, you know,
that's possible.
Family does serve in the military.
That is
You killed my brother, is what they'd think,
and then,
for example. Yeah.
Revenge.
So, I think maybe the captain didn't necessarily kill himself to get out of being guilty. Or to get out of...
like serving time.
So, serving time.
Yeah.
But, I guess it was to get out of the guilt that he would have for killing these people.
And,
or
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that's an act of... In a way, it's selfish. But it's also very selfless. You know, because... You're sacrificing your life so others can live.
But at the same time,
you're also killing
you're taking a bunch of people down with you
Yeah.
and avoiding any grief, penance that you might receive had you stayed alive.
Yeah.
But then, if he made it completely random, do you think he would still feel guilty? Well, I mean, obviously you're going to feel guilty, but is it the justified? Same level.
Is it justified, his guilt? Oh, I would still say, yeah. I wouldn't say... I guess it would be like very close to the same level of guilt. You know,
I feel like, obviously it takes some time to process in his brain, but I don't think it would be as bad because he did make it completely random. He had just as much of a chance of dying as anyone else.
That's true.
Provided he does the tray walkout and everyone takes their own drink.
Yeah,
right. He could have died just like all of them.
He could have,
and
he didn't.
The only thing that he'd have to come to terms with is the fact that he had to take out the thing of drinks.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that knew that 10 of them were going to die. And at that point, if he knew they were going to die, that kind of still makes him guilty.
It does.
But just as guilty as if he chose to not kill them.
Not do any... Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Because he's either not saving their lives...
Or saving some.
Or saving some.
Yeah.
He has a moral obligation to technically save all of them, but he can't.
Yeah.
Because there's no way. They're out of oxygen. They're not going anywhere.
And also going back, it's not as straightforward as, oh, I have to, or this, I can decide. It's not like he had a lot of time, like we said earlier. So, in that... However much time he had to decide, everybody's either going to die, I'm going to die, or I'm going to kill some people and live. Yeah. And then he also has to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't think...
Because, like you said, every minute they waste, there's more of a chance that they're all going to die.
Yeah.
Right?
Say he spent 15 minutes longer. Well, that's probably a bad number, but he spent X amount of time, to decide whether this should happen, and then he does it. It doesn't mean that they're gonna have enough oxygen when they,
Yeah, because if
rise.
if he took 1.5 hours, for example.
Yeah, because
planning this, right?
Mm.
And then he takes out 10. You don't know necessarily that they're going to live. You knocked out half. They now have, instead of the 5 hours they need, they now have 4.5 or 4:45. You're getting real close there.
And then if he were to live, still, like, say he did the completely random thing after an hour or so, and he's still alive, and then he realizes that they still don't have enough oxygen, he has to do something about that too.
Yeah, like at that point, if he did the completely random and he lived, and he now knows that you still don't have enough oxygen, but he's the one that took so long to make it happen, is he morally obliged
to
off
take
himself?
a swig? I would think so. I wouldn't say
But
obliged.
is it really his fault?
No, I mean, nothing. It's unfortunate that the submarine doesn't have enough oxygen, and that could be somebody else's fault. That could be completely up to...
Well, yeah, I mean, basically, the way it goes is the submarine got damaged.
Yes.
So, who knows? Maybe a rock fell on it. Maybe got shot by the Germans.
In which case, his decision... I don't know if that's more valid, if the Germans, whatever, some other party attacked that ship,
yeah,
and is going down.
Yeah, the only reason I said Germans is because it's based World War II.
Yeah, but if, some other person attacked their ship and is going down, and he decides this, is it his fault that he had to do what he did, or is it, obviously the other parties?
Yeah.
Which...
I mean, if there's another party involved, they're the ones who are responsible.
Yeah.
But they're the enemy. They shot at you.
Of course, I mean, that's...
So that makes them guilty anyways.
It's just war. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, if the other entity was, say, a rock shifted, fell, crunched the back end of your submarine...
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then that's completely up to him to decide what's the fate.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess...
Do you think he would have been in the scenario of the classic original story?
Mm.
He offed himself on purpose, randomly killed 9.
Mm.
Do you think that the court would have decided that he was a war hero or a war criminal?
A war criminal.
Yeah.
I would, in my books, I would call him a war hero.
Right. But not your books.
But by the books...
What do you think the court would decide?
The court would decide...
Because they have justified stuff that,
Similar kind of...
Similar-ish.
Yeah.
Not exactly the same. This one's ridiculous. But
sacrifice a few to save the many kind of situations. Yeah.
Few to save the many.
Yeah.
This is same number of people. Not necessarily...
Equal. Yeah, it's not as few for more. It's not like 2 for 3, it's 10 for 10.
10 for 10.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would... Okay. The court... So, like, if we have to think about it legally, what he did was he killed himself and 9 other people to save 10 others.
10 others.
Okay. So, I think he would be... Because he would have to be... well, if it's at random, it's not technically, like you said, it could be technically
It could be manslaughter because it was an accident. Kinda.
Sorta. He knew people were going to die. He didn't know
who.
Exactly. So, I mean, honest, Jesus.
Yeah, so... It's hard to look at it from a legal standpoint because it's so...
It's so split.
It is so split. But if you think about it, he killed 9 people to save 10. So that could justify your sacrifice the few to save the many.
I mean...
Because killing himself was definitely happening.
Yeah.
It was going to happen.
Yeah. So.
Right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, in a way, but I guess suicide also technically counts as murder.
Does it?
Also technically count. I think so.
How are you going to be tried for suicide?
Exactly.
You're
You
dead.
can't. But it's. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it could go either way legally.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I think it really depends on the values of whoever is listening to the trial and, and the case and the facts and the... Because definitely there's people who are going to say, no, he shouldn't have. You need to find another alternative.
Mm.
I'd love to hear what that alternative is.
Especially in that time crunch.
Yeah, time. Okay. Well, we've already determined that there was maybe a little more ethical one, which is the tray with the random drinks.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Right.
Because he'll know by the end whether he dies or not.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then it's not technically up to him at that point.
No, it's not. It's up to. It's completely random. It's not up to anything. It's up to fate.
I also believe if there was another party attacking the submarine, I think he would be more looked at as a war hero because he did save some.
This is true. This is true.
If it was like a rock or some accident, he hit a side of a reef. I don't know.
Yeah.
He did something.
Something happened that he influenced.
Yeah.
To cause the sub to
I think
be damaged.
He might be looked at as more of a murderer instead of a hero.
Yeah, because he's trying to fix an accident that he caused, right?
Yeah, so it's on him that the ship is getting messed up, but
we don't know what damaged the sub.
Exactly,
we don't know. Who knows what actually happened?
There's a lot of factors that could determine whether this is morally correct or not.
Yeah. I think that the other thing that we mentioned with the obligation to save people if you can, that would play a big part of it if they brought it up. Because he had an he had the skill and the opportunity to save some people. He couldn't save all of them.
Yeah.
He can't.
There's no way.
He either neglects to kill anyone and they all die, or he kills all of them.
Or he kills half and then...
Yeah, half them. Yeah, that's what I meant. But if you think about it, if all of them die, would it have even been considered that he could have saved half?
Oh, probably not.
Probably not at all. So then they would have been looked at as a tragedy, not a war criminal.
Or a hero.
He would have been considered neither. It would have been a tragedy of a submarine.
That's true.
So do you think that would help the coping families of the dead crew members? I mean, obviously you're going to be
devastated regardless. Your family's dead.
Right, but do you think it is worse knowing that some of that crew survived and your family member didn't?
Well, okay. If I gotta think about this, right? Say I was a family member of somebody who died.
Yeah, and then one of the crew that died.
I'd be devastated.
Right.
Personally, I don't think I would be mad. I would be definitely mad that, my whoever died instead of another dude. But at the same time, if I were to actually act upon that, that'd be me wishing death upon another person.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think that everybody dying would make the families feel... I guess they would get more of a sense of equality.
Yeah.
But I think that having saved some people is better than none, regardless.
Yeah.
The families...
Because I guess you're helping half the families, but then are you double devastating the other half? Double devastating. quality terminology
Are you-
right there,
are you-
but you know what I mean.
Yeah, are they worse off than the people who are still alive?
Because they know that their family member had just as equal of a chance to have lived. But then if they realize that, then they'll know that it's random, except for the family of the captain. But
Well, of course not.
forget the captain.
Yeah, he doesn't need a family. That's fine. He's dead.
Yeah. What do you think the captain of the family would feel like? Because, I mean, obviously, their family member's dead, which sucks. But do you think that they would feel more anger for his death had he killed half of them versus if it was a tragedy?
Well, do they know that he took it upon him to kill half?
Assuming that all the facts that were given in the original story were related to all the families.
Okay, so everybody knows
exactly what happened.
Okay. I guess... and we're saying that he died, right now?
Captain died, yeah.
Captain's dead.
Captain's dead. He knew he killed himself.
Yeah.
And so, original story.
Original story. Okay, I think that would be... I think they would be very mad at him, honestly, the family.
Well, yeah.
Because, he decided to kill himself instead of saving himself, where he obviously could have.
He definitely could have. But
he also sacrificed himself for other people.
Right. So in the context of sacrificing himself, he's definitely a hero.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But that doesn't change the fact that he did kill people.
Yeah, he did kill
people. He did. It happened. It's a fact. So, yeah, he killed people. Yeah, he saved people. So at that point, do we really need to label him? I mean, obviously, the family, if he's judged in court as a war criminal, the family suffers as well.
Oh, yeah,
for defamation of their name and all sorts of fines and illegal crap.
Well, I feel like if he came out alive, might be a little bit worse in a way.
Yeah, because he's alive, his crew's not,
and his family has to know that he did kill some people.
Yeah, and he's in. Well, I mean, okay, if you're guilty for 9 murders, you're in prison forever.
Yeah,
end of your days.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
It's the end.
Mm-hmm. Unless, I guess, in some situations like this one, it might not be, like depending on what the.
Well, yeah. At that point, it comes down to who's judging it, because we're not judges.
We're not judges.
we're not lawyers. I've never even been called to be on a jury.
I've never taken any law classes.
Nope.
Judge Judy is about that.
Yep, Judge Judy's the peak of the pinnacle of my
law experience.
She's the queen of the law.
Yeah.
But so I mean, from my standpoint, I'd classify him as a war hero, personally.
Yeah.
Because he did save people.
Instead of flat out.
But who knows what the actual judge would. Because we're not looking at it from a legal standpoint. We're looking at it from a morality and ethical standpoint.
Yeah.
Because sometimes things that are ethical aren't legal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this. Yeah, he killed people.
He did. But it's, he did save some.
I feel like, I might have mentioned it earlier, but if he didn't poison anyone and he let all 20 of them suffocate, did he then kill 20 people?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because he didn't act to save them, therefore he killed them.
Depending on, again, like you brought up, in Canada, if you can, you have to.
You have to.
Or else it's on you.
Right.
So, is it on him that 20 people died? Like, if you don't try, then you're always going to fail.
Yeah.
Right? So, without trying, 20 people are... I guess I would say, yeah, because even if he tried, then, he still didn't kill people. Well, he did kill people, but...
He saved some.
At least he tried, you know? At least there was a reason for, he wanted people to live. Yeah. But if he just...
If he did nothing, if he stood by and watched, as well as him suffocating. But,
if he just Yeah, if he died with everybody else, I think that would be even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point, I'd call him a murderer of 20 people.
Yeah.
If he could do it and didn't, definitely killed 20 people.
I mean, it takes some big balls to kill half a crew.
Yeah.
You know, and it...
Exactly.
But assuming that he had... Like, he knew that he could do it. Like, 100%.
Yeah.
Or even that there was a chance... I think, yeah. If he didn't try, at least...
Yeah, because honestly, like you just said, it takes some big balls to kill half your crew, including yourself.
Yeah.
So, if he didn't kill half of them and let them all die, would that be considered, cowardly? Yeah. Because he failed to act because he was scared of the repercussions.
Well, and he was also responsible for 19 crew members, right?
Yeah.
So, it's not like they're just some passerbys. Like, this is the crew. This is the team. This is like
your
a
responsibility.
Family,
yeah.
basically.
In a sub, you get real close.
Yeah.
Real close.
So, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think it's more ethical that he killed half versus doing nothing and letting them all die.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
he did do the courageous, so to speak, thing.
Is it the right thing? I think so. I mean, at least some people lived.
Yeah.
At least some people lived. It's better than none.
It is better than none. But, yeah. Then that just ends up circling back to, is it more valuable that they live? Because they live with the guilt. Their families are, of course, happy that they're alive, but the opposing families are angry at them, who already feel guilt. Yeah, is that any life for the crew member?
I mean, it's still a life.
Well, yes, it's still a life, but, you know, if you're that depressed all the time, because that guilt is going to wear on you like a cheese grater.
But it does not mean that it's the end of
this is true.
Your story, because who knows, those people who he saved could live on being great heroes afterwards, you know?
Yeah.
They could take his sacrifice as, you know, something to change their life or a whole new start or something like that. So
yeah. You were given this chance, don't squander it.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, of course the other families, you know, the ones of the dead ones are going to be mad.
Yeah.
But they got to understand that
this had to happen.
It had to happen. Yeah, it just...
There's nothing that you could have done. There's nothing the crew could have done. There's nothing the captain could have done.
No,
he literally did what he had to do.
Yeah.
He served his duty. He did his purpose.
He did it, and there were consequences, but...
Yeah. I think that, definitely, to sum it all up, the ends justify the means.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because... I mean, those guys that are still alive, like you said, they could obviously seek some treatment because they're going to need some of that. They're going to need a little bit of, it'll be okay.
Just watching half of your crew flop dead.
Basically your family.
Yeah.
Just poof, dead.
Not knowing what the fuck just happened.
Exactly.
Before we change, it's not like... Say, you know, half the crew just flopped dead.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean that half the crew knows what the fuck, why the fuck, you know, why this happened, what happened.
Yeah.
Well, they obviously know what happened.
They witnessed what happened.
But they don't know necessarily why.
Well, okay. Captain hands out drinks. Everyone drinks. Half of them die. Captain looks at you, says, make sure you make it to safety, and drinks and dies. I'm pretty sure you can use a little bit of the big brain to think,
I guess
he just killed some people.
Yeah. And we're alive.
But I think in their treatment, they'd end up coming to the terms that it had to happen. Yeah. There's no way that it couldn't happen.
Well, yeah, if it didn't happen, then
everybody
they'd be
dead. Yeah. Then at that point, if they do... let me format my sentence here.
Okay.
Because if they knew that the captain killed those people, they lived, then they don't feel justified to live. Like, for example, they feel like they didn't deserve to live more than
Bob.
Bob, with his kids and whatever.
Of course.
So do you think that would lead some, if not all of the crew to off themselves?
Maybe. But I would also say that's selfish. You were given the opportunity to live. You know, your friends didn't.
Yeah.
So if you kill yourself, then it's like, what was their sacrifice for?
Yeah. Yeah. You're wasting your life and theirs.
Yeah. Like, that's just two dead for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, don't get me wrong. That would be really hard for people to comprehend.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
I mean, we're not even in the scenario, and it's hard for us to comprehend. We're not going through any of the grief. We're not going through any of the anger.
Guilt. The sorrow.
Like,
yes. Too much.
It is too much.
That's why I will never work in a submarine.
Yeah, no thanks. I am good staying happily on the ground, not in a little thin metal death tube.
I wouldn't assume it'd be thin metal.
Well,
it's pretty thick.
No, it's a thin, metal submarine.
Okay, that's fair.
Not a thin metal submarine.
I'm like, that's just a bad idea.
Walking along, you see the wall shaking.
Just compress. That'd be horrible.
Yeah. But yeah, in the end, I think that his decision was just.
Yeah. I think it's the only right decision you could take within the time you had.
The only other way I could see it panning out is with the random cup scenario. But, you know, even then we discussed how, you know, he's still guilty.
Yeah.
Kinda.
In a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to The Gray Area.
Feel free to share your thoughts and input with us in the comments below.
When the answer isn't black or white, it's the gray area.